How did you end 2025? Did you end well? Did you have certain goals and things that you wanted to accomplish this last year? Were they accomplished? Were they not accomplished? What happened? What took place? But you can't change anything that happened in 2025. All you have is 2026. All you have is today. You know what? You can't change what happened 5 minutes ago. No matter how much you want 2 weeks ago to happen before Christmas, it's not going to happen. I would love to be able to go back 2 weeks, 2 weeks from this Sunday, because my granddaughters came 2 weeks ago and was able to see them 2 weeks ago Sunday and spend a couple of weeks with them. I would love to be able to go back and relive that, but I can't. You can't relive the past. So what am I doing with my time right now? You have a clean slate in front of you. You can't change the past, but you can learn from it. Don't chain yourself to it, but draw from the lessons you can learn, and how can you apply it now coming up on this new year. I want you to open, if you would please, to 2 Timothy chapter 4. 2 Timothy chapter 4. We're going to read verse 7. This is the Apostle Paul. He knows that he's coming to the end of his life. In verse 7, it says, I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Paul finished his course. He's coming to the end of his life. Not just the year, but his life. And how did he finish his life? How will you finish your life? Well, I have so many years in front of me. Yes, you do. But you want to finish well. A lot of people start really good, but they don't finish, or they don't finish well. You could be here a short time on this earth, and all of it is in comparison to eternity, and you can have an amazing life and finish well, or you could have a really long life and you don't finish very well at all. I want every one of you here to be able to say the same thing about your life that Paul did. I fought a good fight. I finished my course. I have kept the faith. Now, he's not passively living on the road of least resistance. He accomplished God's high call with fervent endurance. When he said, I fought a good fight, the word fought there means to contend with adversaries, to endeavor with strenuous zeal. Not just cruising along nice and easy. It takes strenuous zeal and work and endurance to make it through the way that Paul did. In the Boston Marathon, it's one thing to be at the starting line. Everyone's gathered together. There's a lot of motivation you can draw on, a lot of motivation, a lot of things. People are, they're encouraging one another, and yeah, we're ready to go. I have all of these people here. And you take off, and you can start out strong, but come mile 19, you don't have that same pack or group of people generally that you had at the beginning. Everyone's spread out. And it's not the motivation of people that are around you, it's that inner strength that keeps you going. It's because you, months before, put in that extra mile. And you didn't skip that one day. And you did it over and over and over consistently. That's what's going to hold you strong when things get tough. When you feel like giving up. When you feel like quitting. Most of our life is like mile marker 19, not the beginning of the race. It's like mile marker 19. Well, I've been here doing this over and over and over. And the motivation that you had at the beginning isn't as strong anymore. You may not have as many people there cheering you on. You might even be by yourself. So how do we deal with this? See, motivation doesn't get things done. It's the commitment to carry out what you were motivated to do. Motivation is just a feeling, it's a sense. It's good, but it doesn't get the job done. Continuing on when your body screams to stop is what gets you across the finish line. And this is where your daily training comes into play. Now this morning, I want us to look at four very important things that will keep your life on track. 4 very important things qualities that will see your life accomplish what God has for you to accomplish. And I'll get to them in just a second because my iPad just froze up. And I have my notes on here. And it's one of those moments when you look at your notes and you're like, where did they go? What happened to them? And they just came back, so you're in for it. It's one of those moments where you try to continue to say something and your mind is focused on what's on here. If you ever do any public speaking, this will happen from time to time where you're trying to keep track and you're trying to keep speaking and keep people engaged, and you're looking down and you're thinking something totally different, or all your notes are gone. It's like, what do I say next? How do I continue this process going through? So here we go. All right. 4 things, 4 areas that are very important in an individual's life. Turn, if you would, to Psalm chapter 90. Psalm chapter 90. We'll get there in just a second, because I want you to finish your life well. I want you to finish your year well. I want you to finish your month well, your week well. How does that happen? It comes down to the most foundational area. You have to take care of your day. You have to take care of your day. If you take care of your day, the days turn into weeks, and the weeks into months, and the months into years. See, I don't take care of an entire year all at the same time. I take care of one day in that year, and 1 hour in that day, and then 1 minute in that hour. It's broken down into what I'm doing right now. In Psalm chapter 90, verse 12, it says, "So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom." This passage is realizing of how short life is in comparison to eternity. We know it's a vapor. It's here and it's gone. So he said, teach us to recognize how short life really is, that I can take care of the day that I have right now. Well, how do I do that? There are 4 observations about strong finishers. I want you to finish strong. I want you to finish well. Number 1, a finisher is tempted to quit like anyone else. You may say, well, they've got it made. They came from the right family. They get all the breaks in life. They have this, that, and the other thing working for them. No, generally it's not that. It's that they fell down 99 times, but got back up again. And on the 100th time, they hit it right. And then they move that direction, and then they make a mistake and learn. See, I think it was Edison who failed many, many times with the light bulb, and they said, you failed this many times. And he said, no, I didn't fail. I just found out that many ways that didn't work. See, it's our perspective on it. How are we looking at this? You're not a failure unless you quit. Because you make a mistake, because you fall flat on your face, does not make you a failure if you get back up. As a matter of fact, Proverbs chapter 24, verse 16, New English translation says, although a righteous person may fall 7 times, 7 times, you're like, I've fallen more than that. You could put in any number that you want here. Although a righteous person may fall 7 times, he gets up again, but the wicked will be brought down by calamity. And it's not always bad things that get you to quit. Sometimes it's the pleasures of life. In the parable of the seed and the sower, one of the things that steals the word is the pleasures of this life, the lust for other things. I start out right, and then pleasures begin to come in, and now I get my focus off of what's right onto the pleasures. I'm glad that Jesus wasn't swayed by the pleasures of life or the difficulties of life. He didn't quit halfway. He completed his course. He finished on. Don't let the persecution, don't let the problems get you to quit, and don't let the pleasures pull you off track. Keep your eyes and your mind and your heart focused upon the Lord. Make sure that you're doing the right thing. You don't want to succeed at doing the wrong thing. For example, for me to choose to be a fashion designer, would that be a good choice for me to be a fashion designer? No, it would not be a good choice for me to be a fashion designer. That is not my forte. I don't know if you're a hot summer or a cool spring or a cold winter, or they got all those different things and color palettes and all that. I don't know any of that. I am not a creative person that way. I'm just not. So for me to say, you know what, I really want to be a fashion designer, I'm going to work at it, I would be expending energy in the wrong area, the wrong focus, and that wouldn't be good. I might have a little success in it, but I'm not accomplishing what God wants. The goal is to find out, why are you here? What are you supposed to be doing? And then accomplish that with God's help and ability. Don't quit. You'll be tempted to quit. You might be tempted to quit that job. I'm going to quit that job. I am so ticked off of those people. They bypass me over and over and over, and I don't get this and I don't get that. If God wants you to be there, don't be swayed by those things. I was talking with someone the other day, and it's always a reminder to me, never change something or quit or do something different based upon frustration. Because you're always, at times, going to have frustration that comes against your life. You're going to feel like quitting, and if you quit, you might have just quit where you're supposed to be and what God wants you to do. You need to pray about that. At times, should I quit this and do that? Absolutely. But you have to be led by the Spirit and led by the peace of God in your heart, not by the circumstances and frustration around you. If you're frustrated at a job, maybe you are to go somewhere else. But you have to have the peace about doing it, not just be led by the frustration, because you will be tempted to quit. Just make sure if you change directions, it's at the Lord's leading, not your frustration. Stay in your lane. You finish your course. You're not racing in life against another person. Paul said those that compare themselves amongst themselves are not wise. I'm not running anyone else's race. I'm not. I'm not running Tom's race, and he's not running mine. He's running his own race. So we're not in competition with each other. And I should be able, if he needs help, I should be able to come alongside him and help him, and he should be able to help me, because we're a body working together, because I'm not competing to try to accomplish his race. He's doing it. Paul said, I finished my course, my race. Every one of you have a race. Are you in your lane? Are you accomplishing what God has you to do? And that's a whole other message. How do I find out? Ask him. He's not hiding it from you. Talk to him about it. Are you doing what he wants you to do? Secondly, a finisher sees past the present to the future. So they're tempted to quit, but they don't. What do? I look past the present to the future. It takes a visionary person to see an empty piece of ground and see construction take place there. It takes a visionary person to look into the future. And you are a visionary person with what God has called you to do. It takes a finisher to have a group of kids that seem to all have problems and are causing you heartache, and to see them accomplish what God has for them. To see them as leaders. To see them accomplish God's ordained plan for them. Many times we just see, they screwed up again, they messed up again, it's a problem again, and we focus on the problem. No, you have to look past that. You don't deny it, but you have to look past that to see the end result. Aren't you glad that God didn't give up on you? That he sees the end result with your life? He didn't give up and say, you've messed up too many times, just forget you. He never does. I fall times 6, times 7, I get back up, and the Lord's like, all right, let's learn from that, and let's keep moving ahead. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2. Hebrews 12, 2. Mark this, highlight it, put arrows to it. This is how Jesus dealt with things. Looking unto Jesus. Who's to look unto Jesus? You and me. Why are we looking unto Jesus? Well, one, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. Jesus endured the cross and everything else. Why? Because he looked to the future, to the joy that was set before him. And as we shared before, you are that joy. The completion of redemption and salvation for humanity was the joy set before him. Did he want to go through the cross? Absolutely not in his flesh. In the Garden of Gethsemane, was he tempted to quit? I believe that he was. Father, if there's any other way to do this, let's do it. Nevertheless, not my will, but your will be done. How could he say that? He's looking to the completion of it. He knows that there's going to be victory on the other side. Yet he has to go through the punishment, the torture. He has to become sin for us to get to that. But he was in the center of the Father's will. So he is the author, notice this, and the finisher of your faith. Don't look to the future, though, at the expense of the present. Okay? But it's looking to the future that helps keep you moving in the present. All right? Too many times people can look so much to the future, they're not taking care of today. And then other people are so frustrated with today because they're not looking to the future, the end product. You have to have a balance of both of these things working together. Turn, if you would, to Proverbs chapter 20. Proverbs chapter 20. It's seeing the end result that keeps you going and keeps that hope alive. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 4. The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold, therefore shall he beg and harvest and have nothing. The lazy person has blinded himself to the future. He's into instant gratification. It's just right now. I need to sleep, I need to rest. No, he needs to be out in the field. He needs to be working. Why? Because the future. I got to get out there, I got to harvest. Why? I can't harvest in the middle of winter. I have to be prepared. And if I don't do it now, I'm not going to have things to eat in the future. It's planning, it's looking ahead. But also what's going to happen in the future dictated what he did today. What's going to happen in your life? See, this happens all the time in many different areas of a person's life. Just a simple thing, and I'm not on food kicks or things like that, but in one sense, what I take into my body today will affect me in the future. I could eat horribly, terribly, and not really notice much difference right now. But down the road, I'm going to have a difference in my body, and I'm going to wonder, what's going on? Well, it's not just that meal I had that day. It's what I've been putting in for the last several years that's affecting me now. So what I do today will affect me today some. It's going to work. But I'm going to notice some of those things in the future. Just like he didn't plow, so when it comes time that I need food, I'm not going to have it because I didn't prepare properly. So what you do today has a direct connection to what happens to your future. That's not to condemn anybody. Listen, as we said, we can't change the past. It is what it is, but I have right now. So if I need to make some adjustments and changes, do it now. Don't wait until next week or next month or next year. Do you realize before we know it, we'll be at this time a year from now? And how will you have handled this year? What will have been? Next year's coming no matter what. Tomorrow's coming no matter what. Am I ready for it? 2 Corinthians chapter 4. 2 Corinthians chapter 4. Paul is talking about the difficulties that we face in this life and what we go through and what he faced. And notice what he says, verse 16. In the midst of all of that, the first part of this verse, for which cause we faint not. I will probably never go through a little bit even of what Paul went through with persecution. The scourgings, the beatings, all that he faced. But Paul said, in the midst of all that, I still don't faint. I don't quit. I don't give up. What caused Paul to push through those things when he didn't feel like it? When everybody was against him? There's no motivation to move on whatsoever. What caused Paul to move forward? Look at verse 18. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. You stay fixed on the unseen, the eternal realm, your real home in heaven. If you're just having a horrible, horrible, horrible day, let me encourage you. Think about heaven for a little while. Just remember, you're only here temporary. You've got an amazing future. It's bright. As a Christian, the life you have on this earth is the only hell you will ever know. It gets better from here when you die. So if you're having a bad day, just think about that mansion in heaven. Think about the streets of gold. Think about family or friends that you have there, and you'll get to see them pretty soon. Okay, so Paul said we focus on the things that we don't see. Third, a strong finisher is filled with faithfulness. Filled with faithfulness. It's the ability to carry out commitment long after that mood in which it was made is gone. Some of these tie together quite a bit. It's making that goal, the kingdom builders, and not quitting halfway through. And you see what happens when you don't quit halfway through? We were able to accomplish as a body together some amazing things. It's sticking with things to the end. One of the best examples, I believe, of a faithful commitment is marriage. Marriage. You don't always have the feelings, but you've taken vows. And I'm going to be faithful to God and to my spouse and to work through things. Even though, it just seems impossible. Just say, no, you're going to work through that. You're committed. You're going to make it work. You're going to do your part. Marriage is an amazing example of faithful commitment. And it's not just going through the motions, but it's doing those things to the best of your ability. The Gospel of Mark, speaking of Jesus, in Mark chapter 7, verse 37, this is what it said about how Jesus did things. He just didn't go through the motions. Mark 7:37, this is the Amplified Version. And they were overwhelmingly astonished, saying, he has done everything excellently, commendably, and nobly. King James Version says he did everything well. Everything Jesus did well. Treat everything you do as if the Lord himself will be looking at it to give his approval. All right? How would Jesus rate the job that I did this past week at work? How would Jesus rate my interaction with my wife, with my kids, with coworkers, with fellow church goers? How would he rate that? How did I do that? Did I do it well? And then, last of all, a strong finisher focuses on completion. In our text, Paul said, I have finished my course. He finished his course. A great idea isn't enough until you see it through. Henry Ford was once asked, how can one become a success? He simply replied, if you start something, finish it. Now, you don't have to raise your hands. Anybody here have any unfinished projects? You can raise your hand if you want. You don't have to. All right, okay. And it may be that, hey, it's unfinished because I started it and I'm working on it, or it may be I got an unfinished project there and there and there and there and there and there and there. Go back, pick them up one at a time. Make sure it's what you're supposed to be doing. Again, don't exert energy in an area you're not supposed to be involved in. But if it is, finish it. Complete it. All right? It does something to the inside of an individual. My wife and I shared this story quite a while back, but my wife and I, several years ago when we had a husky, we had two huskies, and those dogs, all right, husky dogs, and we put up a dog kennel. And we went and we bought this dog kennel, and on the front of it, it shows a dog in 3 easy steps putting this dog kennel together. And we're like, how hard can this be? This has got to be easy. So we get it out, and we're thinking a few minutes, and said, just short time this thing should be up. We're thinking a few minutes, this thing should be up, ready to go. A few hours later, after kicking pieces around and being upset and frustrated, found out we had parts missing in there, so I had to go back and get the parts. Finally, we're able to get this thing together. We completed this wonderful, amazing project that strengthened our marriage, and everything was awesome. And we actually started talking to each other a couple days later, and things were it was good. It was good then. I felt like this is it. I'm done with this. But we saw it through to completion. And then let me just say this. There are some things that maybe you're to stop. Think of something. If you need to work with your time, is there something you can stop doing and never do again? Okay? And for me, and I've shared this with you, it was raking leaves. Okay? Because I'll never rake leaves again. Just a little bit to get someone to come over and take care of them. Because I had, I'm picking them up. I raked them all up, put them in the garbage can, and had the cover on it, and it's sucking up the leaves, and then it would blow off, and the leaves would blow all over places. And this happened a few times, and it wouldn't stay on, and I hate to admit this, and I think I've shared this before, but this is one of the things, this is the reason I don't do this anymore. This is in the front yard. I took that blower and threw it halfway across the yard, and I took the stuff of leaves, and I dumped that out and threw that too, and I said, I'm done. Now, hopefully, our neighbors, we still get along, and they still like us. Hopefully, no one was watching, but I was determined that day I will never rake leaves again. And for me, that was a good decision. So there may be things in your life it's best for you to quit doing and have somebody else take care of to save frustration, but in the long run, it's going to help you keep peace. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? But make sure if you're supposed to be doing something, bring it to completion. Hebrews chapter 12, let's go back to that, almost done here. First 2 verses. Therefore, seeing also we are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which does so easily beset us, and garbage cans full of leaves, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. Again, he is the author and the finisher of our faith. Guard your assignment from God with fierce determination. You will give an answer for it, and I want you to do it well. If you're a believer, you have everything that you need to finish your course, to finish your race. You can accomplish that with God's help. You hold the keys to your destiny. I want you to finish your day, your week, your month, and your year, and your life well. One other passage, 2 Timothy 4. Let's go back and read where we started, and I want to back up just a couple of verses, and I'll close with this. 2 Timothy 4, 6 through 8. For I am already being poured out like a drink offering. This is Paul saying. He said, I'm coming to the end of my life. I'm being poured out like a drink offering, and the time has come for my departure. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award me on that day. And not only to me, but also to all those who long for his appearing. You have a crown laid up for you. I want you to see you get that crown. One thing to do, let me just share one very practical thing. I heard this quite a while back. Think of 6 things. What are the top 6 things that you would like to see accomplished in the next 6 months? Okay? Evaluate, pray about it. Lord, what are the top 6 things that you want me to accomplish this next 6 months? And then sit down and write out practical, achievable goals, action steps to accomplish them. What are you doing with your time to reach those 6 goals?